This morning to find childcare in Chicago. Public school classes are canceled after the teachers union voted to pause in-person learning and switch to remote amid a surge in COVID cases. Chicago Department of Public Health Commissioner Dr. Allison Already expressing frustration.
In what world would we think to close something essential like in-person education when we have seen the negative effects of that when our bars remain open?
Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Let's not go through this again. I don't want to be up here like it's Groundhog Day.
Boston, more than 1,000 public school staff and teachers were out Tuesday due to COVID. Public school superintendent Dr. Brenda Casillas.
It does make for a difficult start to the day. We have about 42 schools that have about 20% of their staff out.
The teachers union there is urging the district to go remote. COVID-19 infections continue to climb with a new record. More than 1 million people in the U.S. diagnosed with the virus on Monday. That's the highest number of cases reported by any country in a single day since the pandemic started. The CDC under scrutiny for shortening the isolation period after testing positive for COVID from 10 days to 5 and without requiring a test.
The agency now adding Americans who can and want to test should opt for a rapid test, but stop short of mandating it. They say if you test positive after 5 days, isolate for another 5 days. If negative, leave isolation, but wear a mask and avoid high-risk activity.
ABC's Ike Ajachi in Washington. On the eve of the anniversary of the January 6th Capitol riot, the Congressional Committee investigating wants to question Fox News host Sean Hannity about his communications with the White House before the attack. And now former President Trump has announced a change of plans, canceling the news conference he was scheduled to hold tomorrow as GOP leaders plan to avoid any commemoration of the day. You're listening to ABC News.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and Navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. It's the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an effective, all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug. It's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Over 2 million sold. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
The 4-year-old niece of George Floyd recovering after being shot on New Year's Day. Derek Delane is her father.
My daughter jumped up and said, "Daddy, I've been hit." And I was shocked until I seen the blood, until I realized that my 4-year-old daughter was really hit.
Ariana hit in the lung and liver and left with 3 broken ribs. She was in the same apartment where her family gathered to watch the verdict in the trial of Derek Chauvin, convicted of killing Floyd. Police in Houston facing questions over their response time. The family says 911 was called at 3 in the morning, but police didn't show up for 4 hours. For the first time since 1931, GM has been knocked from the top of the car sales list in the U.S. Here's ABC's Michelle Franzen.
General Motors has lost its title for the top-selling automaker in the U.S., Toyota, taking over the crown for sales in 2021, outselling GM by some 114,000 vehicles. The chip shortage due to supply chain issues impacting sales of new cars. There's only so many new cars for dealerships to sell, and that's leading to a rise in demand and prices for used cars. It marks the first time in 9 decades that GM has dropped from the top sales spot. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Win tonight's Powerball lottery and you can buy any car you want. The top prize growing to $610 million. That's the 7th largest in Powerball history. This is ABC News.
On our first date, we had masks on and kept 6 feet apart. Now, we're a lot closer.
Just like Cliff and Deb, thousands of singles over 50 found their perfect match on Silver Singles last year.
I feel like I'm 20 years old again, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same way.
Rediscover the magic of dating with Silver Singles, the exclusive community for singles over 50. Sign up today and receive daily matches you won't want to miss at silversingles.com/radio. silversingles.com/radio.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the rest.
We're going to watch for a few slick spots early as those sprinkles continue to move towards the east. By the afternoon, will be dry with high temperatures in the upper 40s and upper 50s. Overnight will be partly cloudy, lows falling into the low to upper 30s. And then tomorrow, isolated showers will move in by the evening. We have a better chance of seeing rain tomorrow night, and a brief transition from rain to snow will be possible along our northern counties. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
We're starting out the morning reading 37 degrees on our thermometer, getting up to about 52 with some south wind blowing 8 miles per hour with gusts up to 17 miles per hour, which is going to make it feel a little bit breezy out there. Then tonight, partly cloudy with some patchy fog available. As we wake up in the morning, we'll have that fog. Now, I'm looking ahead down the road a little ways to Sunday morning, late Saturday night, early Saturday morning. There is a possibility of a chance of sleet in the forecast because it'll be around 27 degrees and possibility the humidity the elements are going to be such that we may get some. We'll watch that for you. Be sure to stay tuned right here wherever you're traveling. Constant Radio is always there for you. Now I have these death announcements. Patsy Ann Turnell Folk, age 82 of Shelby, passed away of natural causes January the 1st. A celebration of life will be on Saturday, January the 8th at Lilly Memorial Baptist Church in Shelby. The family asks that masks be worn while inside. Out of respect for everyone's health and safety, social distancing protocols will be followed. The family will receive visitors from 1:30 to 2:45 in the fellowship hall, with the service following at 3 o'clock in the sanctuary. There will be limited indoor seating with FM radio broadcast in the parking lot. The service will be available also live at 10url.com/PatsyFolk. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with those arrangements for Patsy Ann Turnell Folk. That is the Folk of Folk Cleaners. Jody Carolyn Harriman passed away December 23rd. A private ceremony for her immediate family will be held. An additional ceremony for Jody's many loved ones will be held at a later date. Details will be posted on the website at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home for Jody Carolyn Harriman. Christine Mace Epley, age 72 of Forest City, passed away Friday, December 31st at her residence. Graveside service will be conducted at 2 o'clock today at the Robertson Creek Free Will Baptist Church Cemetery. The family will receive friends. They received friends last night from 6 until 8 o'clock at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral Home, serving the family of Chris Epley. Lawrence Larry Brown, age 70 of Forest City, passed away December 17th at Atrium Health, Cabarrus. A memorial mass will be held at Immaculate Conception Roman Catholic Church at 12 noon Saturday, January the 8th. The family will continue to celebrate the life of Larry with a second service in the chapel of the Pageant and King Mortuary at 1:30 on Saturday, January the 8th. The family will receive friends following the service at the mortuary. Pageant and King Mortuary is serving the family of Larry Brown. Mayor Francis Ellis Bivens, age 78, formerly of Spindale, passed away Sunday, January the 2nd at Bryan Center, Hickory East. A celebration of life will be held 3 p.m. today at Eternal Hills Memorial Park, Forest City. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Mayor Francis Ellis Bivens. Jason Dean Van Dyke, 44, of Bostic, died Saturday, December 25th. Those arrangements are incomplete and will be announced by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service. Again, that's Jason Dean Van Dyke. Carol Pate, arrangements still incomplete at this time, and will be announced by McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Service. We'll announce that when we get those information. Joyce Waters McFarland, 94, of the Hopewell community, died Wednesday, December 29th. Arrangements are incomplete and will be announced by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service for Joyce McFarland. Martha Billingsley, 82, of Ellenborough, died Monday. The funeral will be conducted at 3 o'clock Friday, January the 7th, at Victory Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the Bethel Baptist Church Cemetery. Visitation will be from 1:30 until 2:45 Friday in the church prior to the service. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service in charge of the arrangements for Martha Billingsley.
Morning edition. Bill O'Reilly here for Lone Star Transfer. Many timeshare owners are very upset because their yearly dues have nearly doubled. Well, Lone Star will guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. For a free, no-obligation consultation, please call 855-551-7066 or online at LoneStarTransfer.com. On this Tuesday, it should be abundantly clear to everyone that liberal mayors and prosecutors have made cities like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, and San Francisco unsafe and in some areas downright dangerous. That should be obvious. There is no debate. The issue is crime and no punishment. The result is death and suffering, especially in the minority precincts where most crimes happen. The irony is that the reason the progressive left does not want to respect the law is that they think it's racist. Therefore, the criminals, predators, are victims to be assuaged, not villains to be held accountable. And who gets hurt with that insanity the most? Poor black citizens. That's who. This lunatic view of justice has taken root in America with the help of the corrupt media and crazy left financiers like George Soros. I've been talking about that guy for years. He's pumped tens of millions of dollars into local DA races, always backing the most radical left candidate. In my opinion, Soros has blood on his hands. The only way to stop the madness is for voters to throw the bums out. All Americans should be angry about this progressive philosophy. If you can't do the time, go ahead and commit the crime. We won't prosecute. Enough. These people have to go. Now this. Attention investors want predictable monthly cash flow? How about double-digit annualized targeted returns with the benefits of real estate without being a landlord? Peace of mind comes from investing with a 15-year industry leader. Savvy investors are learning about the NRIA Real Estate Development Fund, and you should too. So please call 800-800-1414. That's easy, 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Stay in touch with your tax dollars. Listen to the Commish Report and the School Board Report each month live here on WCAB. The reports are heard the following morning after the meetings. WCAB, keeping you informed as well as entertained.
This is Gilbert. I'm back on the air every Saturday from 8 to 9. So put on a pot of coffee, sit down, and listen to Gilbert Talks Taxes. You just might learn something.
Up to one-third of the men who came west to become cowboys following the Civil War were black. Although you've probably never heard of Bose Eichard, you'll discover you knew more about him than you thought. Bose was born a slave in Mississippi. His owner moved to Texas and brought his slaves along with him. Bose learned to farm, ranch, and fight Indians. Following the Civil War, as a free man, Bose went to work for cattleman Oliver Loving. When Indians killed Loving, Bose went to work for Loving's partner, Charles Goodnight. Goodnight once said of Bose, "I trust him further than any living man. He was my detective, banker, and everything else in Colorado, New Mexico Territory, and the other wild country I was in." In 1869, Bose settled down in Parker County, Texas, beginning a family. Indian attacks were still taking place, and Bose fought them, riding with his former slave master. After Bose's death on January 4, 1929, Charles Goodnight placed a granite marker on his grave. It said, "Bose Eichard served me for 4 years on the Goodnight Loving Trail, never shirked a duty or disobeyed an order, rode with me in many stampedes, participated in 3 engagements with Comanches, splendid behavior." Earlier I said you might be more familiar with Bose than you thought. Supposedly, Larry McCurdy's novel Lonesome Dove was based on the lives of Charlie Goodnight and Oliver Loving. If so, then the role played by Danny Glover was surely that of Bose Eichard. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James Railroad Express has added 2 new sandwiches to their menu. Try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. And now, the new beer-battered fish sandwich. All come with sides. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only, hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Now at 7:16, let's get started with our call around the county news report. Sergeant Weathers is with us from the Sheriff's Department to give us an update from there. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good, and you?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Tell us what's been going on in your department.
For the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office has responded to 124 calls for service. It's made 10 arrests, and there's currently 150 in our jail. On our incident reports, we have Kenneth Lewis of Forest City reporting larceny of a firearm. He had an AK-47 stolen. We have Robertson Creek Free Will Baptist Church reporting larceny from a vehicle. They had a catalytic converter stolen off one of their vans. Foxfire Enterprises reported a B&E and a larceny. They had several tools stolen in that incident. Earl Shortstop reported uttering a forged instrument. Somebody passed a false check there. Fellowship Baptist Church reported a damage to property. They had some vandalism to occur to their church. Someone spray painted the building on that. On our arrest reports, we have a Melissa Murray of Mooresboro was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. Travis Smith of Ellenborough was arrested for failure to appear on a felony larceny motor vehicle, and felony larceny. He received a $25,000 secured bond. Desiree Bovey of Forest City was arrested for failure to appear, received a $1,000 secured bond. Christian Harden of Ellenborough was arrested for failure to appear on a felony, 3 counts of that. Received an $8,000 secured bond. Justin Rector of Forest City was arrested for, where he was served with a notice of hearing. Keith Shires of Forest City was charged with possession of controlled substance in a jail or prison, and there was no bond given on that. Brandon Logan of Rutherford was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor, received a $5,000 secured bond. And Noah Gibson of Rutherford was charged with felony flee to elude in a motor vehicle and received a $5,000 unsecured bond. And that's all we have for you today.
Sergeant Weathers, thank you very much for that report, and you be safe out there today.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Cheryl, have you been to the Homeworks Design Center inside Henson Building Materials in Forest City?
Oh, yes. Shana, David, and William are incredible at designing kitchen and bath cabinetry for my new she shed.
Your what?
And they have a full line of windows and doors on display in their 5,000 square foot showroom. And they'll install any ones you pick out for me.
Oh, you're too good to me.
I know. With selling and installing, it's basically one-stop shopping.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Now we're stopping over at 911 Communication Center and see what kind of calls they've had in the past 24 hours. As bad as these reports are, it's not near as bad as yesterday morning, thank goodness. Here's Mike now reporting in to us from the 911 Center. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Good morning.
What's on the
In
report
past-
today?
Sure. In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has processed 451 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 44 emergency medical services, 124 calls from the Sheriff's Office, 42 Forest City, 4 from Lake Lure, 24 from Rutherford, and 37 from Spindale.
Is that it?
That's everything.
All right, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. You have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Bye. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. This note, the COVID testing today will be a free drive-through COVID testing and be conducted today, January the 4th, from 10 a.m. until 12 noon, 221 Callahan Coon Road, Spindale. For any questions you might have, please call 287-6100. But that free COVID test is today from 10 until 12 noon. Now let's check in with the SDO, Shiloh, Danieltown, Oakland community. And Ruby Taylor, good morning.
Good morning.
Anything on your report today?
They went out last night, but I don't know what it was, Jim. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Stephanie Summers having birthday and hope she has a nice day. And the signs are in the feet today and tomorrow, and that's all I've got.
Thanks, Ruby. Enjoy your Wednesday.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records, and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you, so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled A-R-Y-E-E. Now 7:22 Wednesday morning. Let's head up to the Fairfield Mountains Fire District. And Gary Wilson, it's a little bit quieter this morning than yesterday morning.
A little bit quieter and a little bit warmer.
Yes, all of the above.
Makes a big difference, don't
it? It does, indeed.
This is the wintertime, so yeah, it definitely is quieter this morning. We got a pretty quiet night for everybody overnight. Sound like sitting on about 35 this morning, which is about 10 degrees warmer than yesterday morning, and looks like a red sky back there where the sun's trying to come up, so hopefully we'll get up a little bit warmer today than we were yesterday, too. But other than that, everything's been pretty quiet up here, Jim. Throughout the county, sounds like we could use that after everything's been going on this week.
Oh, yeah. It's time for a break, isn't it?
It sure is.
Well, Gary, I appreciate you. Thank you for being there, and we'll check back in with you tomorrow morning.
All right, we'll talk to you then.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Checking on Fairfield Mountains and Bills Creek community. That's Gary Wilson. Well, if you got a business, starting a business, and this year you want this year to be a better year for you in terms of organization and moving forward, listen up to Amanda.
In Leading Purpose, we recognize that some of our local businesses have struggled the last 2 years trying to make sure the dream they built for their company is not damaged. So many factors have been involved in keeping you from doing what you intended to do as a business owner and what you want to do both for your employees and your community. Leading Purpose is a local small business that wants to walk with you on your journey to achieving greater abundance.
All right, DeVern's up next. DeVern up from Bostic, North Carolina. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. What's on the news over there?
Well, we have 40 degrees over here this morning. It really feels good outside.
Yeah.
The fire department had no calls. It's very quiet for them. Bostic Floors has their Christmas stuff 50% off. And hope everybody has a safe day today and keep the Horton family and the other family in your prayers as they go through this tragedy.
Okay, we'll sure do that. And DeVern, you keep us straight over there, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Now we're heading up toward the Hutto Fire District, and our friend Bob Hodge is there. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good hump day morning.
It is much nicer morning today than yesterday, isn't it?
That's right. A little warmer. Weather's clearer out here this morning, but you better get ready. It's going to get cold again, so.
Yep, you're right.
We're just up and down, Jim. We'll be cold and then warm, cold and warm there. But yeah, it looks like we're going to get back to real wintertime temperatures in the next couple of days there for a while. And Jim, up here with the fire department, been pretty quiet. We answered one minor vehicle accident call, and that's about it with the fire department. I want to say happy birthday to Kayla Watson and Gene Watson this morning. And, Jim, that's about it up here. Things are running along good and quiet so far this morning. And I hope you have a good day now over there.
Bob, thank you. I'm glad things are quiet around the Hutto Fire District area and hope it continues, and we'll check back in with you tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Bob. Bye-bye. And you can catch Bob most afternoons for the afternoon call-around report with Kevin Pleasant. 27 past the hour of 7, and we've got more news to cover coming up. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. Cherry Mountain Fire District is next. Sue Price, how you doing?
Good morning, Jim. I'm doing good. Hope you are.
I'm doing good. You feeling good this morning?
Yeah,
Good.
Doing good.
Good.
Looking at a pretty sky out through the door there. It's looking pink and blue, and it's real pretty. Well, let's see. I didn't have any calls from the fire department, so I reckon they've been quiet. On my church calendar, I got a birthday for Bobby Jo King, so I hope she's going to have a good day. And on Fairfield, I got an anniversary for, birthday for Hunter McCall, so I hope Hunter will have a good day. And nothing, I don't have first project, and don't have anything in the announcements, so it's just calm and quiet out here, and we're looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Thanks, Sue. You too, and we'll check back with you tomorrow morning.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
A Cleveland County man was killed last week while trying to help someone at the scene of a crash. He was born in Rutherford County around 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Richard Darren Ivy, 53, was driving an 18-wheeler on Interstate 71 in Ohio when he watched a woman lose control of her car and crash. According to reports, Ivy pulled over to help the woman as she tried to get their infant child out of the car when another driver swerved to avoid the crash and ended up hitting him. Ivy was pronounced dead at the scene. He was born in Rutherford County. Richard Ivy practically grew up in the cabin of a tractor trailer. His father was a career truck driver and would often take Richard on the road with him. I think that really took hold of him. It was what he really wanted to do in life, said Darren Ivy, one of Richard's 5 children. For most of his life, Richard made his living transporting frozen foods across the country. He was all over the road, drove to New York, California, all over the place. About 2 years ago, he had to have open heart surgery, but he couldn't stay home long. He got bored staring at 4 walls, so he went back out on the road. The family will have a visitation for his patriarch at 1 o'clock today at Stamey Tosinger Funeral Home, formerly a Rutherford County resident of Cleveland County, killed while helping someone else out on the highway. Now let's head over toward the Hudlow Fire District, and we have Tina White on the phone to give us an update from over there. Good morning. How are you?
I am well. Hello from Shingle Hollow. It's 25 degrees up here on my front porch. The sky's very pretty this morning. 35 degrees. 25 was yesterday. Yeah, 35 degrees.
I was going to say, you're really colder than we are this morning.
The sky's peachy out there with some clouds, but it's very pretty. No birthdays today on any calendars. Pilgrim Way Baptist Church wants to invite anyone who can to give blood. They're having a blood drive this on Saturday the 15th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you would like to sign up, you can call Ginger at 429-9328. Piney Knob Baptist Church is having a basketball game or basketball night this Friday the 7th in the Family Life Center, 6 p.m. it starts. And it's not just for Piney Knob members and people who go to Piney Knob. It's for the whole community. Anybody who wants to come out and play basketball, young, old, that's this Friday at 6 p.m. And then on Sunday the 9th, they're having Old Timey Day, and they want to invite everybody in the community to come for their Old Timey Day. A church starts at 10:45, or the preaching starts at 10:45. And that's all I've got right now.
All right.
Our fire department was quiet. I should mention that, shouldn't I, since it is the fire department call around. They did have their monthly meeting last night, and they're also accepting applications for volunteers. So if you would like to be a volunteer firefighter in the Shingle Hollow District, you can go by the fire department from 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, and get you an application.
Time to step up to the plate, guys and gals. They can use your help. All right. Anything else, Tina?
That's all I know of.
All right. Well, keep up the good work for us, and we'll see you next time.
Okay. Have a great day, and be safe out there.
Bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
I was telling somebody yesterday, a gentleman he was not from here, he's from somewhere else, I don't recall what state he's from now, but tell him kind of what we do here in the mornings with the call-around report the sheriff's department and the fire departments around the area. He was amazed and how interesting he thought that was. He said, boy, I wish I lived here. I'd love to hear that. That's interesting, fascinating stuff you do in the mornings. And I said, well, been a long-time tradition here at WCAB, 55 years now. Calling around the county to find out where there's news, and sometimes breaking news stories, sometimes not. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's not. But we appreciate so much these folks who have been volunteering to be our reporters from those fire districts over the years, because it is a meaningful opportunity for folks to get caught up on what's happening around the area. Now we're going up to Union Mills and get a report from Brenda Kelly. Good morning, Brenda Kelly.
Good morning, Jim Bishop. How are you on this wonderful Wednesday morning?
I'm wonderful.
I'm glad to hear it. You feeling mighty fine?
I am feeling mighty fine.
Well, that's good. That's good.
How are you doing?
I'm just on top of the world up here.
Good. No snakes this time of year, and no big rats running around, so you're happy.
That's right. Yeah, there ain't no snakes this time of year. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I don't like them snakes. But let's see, I've got 32 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays or any anniversaries. And I was out and about early yesterday morning, and where Old Morganton Road comes out into Highway 64 just before you get to Cane Creek Grocery, there was a lot of flashing lights and vehicles on the side of the road, and there was a driveway there on the right of the road like you're going towards Morganton, and there was a highway patrol car on the back of a rollback. And then there was another highway patrol car parked diagonal there to the road, but I didn't, and it looked like it had a little bit of front end damage on the driver's side. But I don't know what was going on there. When I come back, I still didn't see no skid mark. I thought, well, maybe they hit a deer or something, but I didn't see no deer or nothing else, so I don't know what was going on there.
I don't know what that was either.
That was about, let's see, 8 o'clock or 8:15 yesterday morning.
Well, it could have been a deer. They're sure prevalent out there right now.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them, and especially right through there. Yeah.
But
we hope everything was all right with whatever was going on.
I hope nobody else got hurt. It's too much of that
yeah.
going on. Speaking of deer, I think I may have told you this. My son-in-law was coming home from work. He works over in the Lincoln area, and he's driving home, and a deer ran in front of him, and he caught his car and just about totaled his brand new car. He said that car about 6 weeks now.
Oh no!
And it's in the body shop now being repaired. I think they're going to take care of it, but it was he couldn't see it. It's right there in front of him before he realized.
Oh yeah, they will. They're booming. They're right there on you.
I just told him
they'll jump off of a bank or anything.
I told him to be thankful it didn't hit him head on. It just hit him on the side of the car.
Yeah.
Exploded both airbags, or all the airbags in there, but he was okay. He just bumped up a little bit.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. The deer are everywhere.
Yeah. I don't understand
I can remember when me and Donald first got married, there weren't no deer in Rutherford County, and him and his friend would go up toward Mount Mitchell and places like that to go deer hunting. Then within 5 or 6 years after we got married, there was deer everywhere.
Well, how about that?
It's just amazing.
There are plenty of those deer crossing signs on the highways. I don't know why those deer just don't go to those crossings and cross.
I know it. They don't know how to read. I've got one announcement, and that's breakfast at the Gilkey School Community Center Saturday, January the 8th, from 7 to 10 a.m., and the price is adults $7, kids 7 to 12 $3, and kids 6 and under eat for free. And so far, that's all I know of going on up here. It's just short, sweet, quiet, and cool.
All right, keep up the good work, and we'll check back in with you tomorrow.
Okay.
See
Catch you later.
Bye-bye. That's the Kelly Report from upstate Union Mills this morning as we travel around the county. And next stop is going to be Ellenborough Fire District. It's 7:38 right now.
Hey folks, you know, Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherfordton.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Now it's 7:40 and it's Ellenborough time. Time to move over there and get a report from Luther Gilligan, who keeps us on things for us and reports back to us each morning and afternoon. Now, good morning, Luther.
Good morning to you too. It's a nice day down here.
Yeah, good.
A little cool, but it's a nice day. Won't be as apt to work up a sweat.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But we'll see what happens today. But it's quiet this morning. Not a whole lot going on. People just getting their gas and their biscuits and heading on out to work. See, fire department, they had 3 medical calls yesterday. Other than that, they're quiet this morning. Nothing going on with them. But we want to wish happy birthday today. See, Mr. York is having a birthday today. And Miss Suzanne Covington's having one, and Miss Brenda Murray is having one today. So hope these ladies have a great day and enjoy their day. If you have nothing else going on down here, you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Keep us posted, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, take care now.
Bye. That's the Gilligan Report from Ellenborough this morning and wraps things up for the call around the county. Time now to call in birthdays and anniversaries for the 5th day of January, January the 5th. Call us now at 287-3356, and we'll find out who's celebrating birthdays. All right here in just a few moments.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Well, it's breakfast time, and you can get a hot breakfast at Granny B's this morning. They start serving breakfast at 7 o'clock and goes to 11 with good hot breakfast, your choice of things you like to eat, bacon, eggs, and how you want your eggs cooked. They'll do all that for you. Just tell them what you like, and they'll fix it for you. Granny B's does a great job at that. Plus, they always have plenty of those delicious daylight donuts available for breakfast as well. Plenty of good, hot, fresh coffee. They got specialty coffee over there, too, that you'll enjoy. So get a load of daylight donuts, take them with you, picks up for breakfast, and take it to work with you. Or take some your fellow coworker something to eat. They'll appreciate that. It's always good to find good food, good folks that run a business like Granny B's. You'll appreciate them when you get to know them. Granny B's in Spindale, open right now, right beside the Shake Shop in Spindale.
Happy birthday.
We want to wish a happy birthday to Janice Morrow this morning, and I'm turning my music down so you can hear me this morning. Janice Morrow's having a birthday. We want to wish her a happy birthday. Lives in Rutherfordton. And today is the birthday of George Reeves, Superman, born in 1914. He died in 1959. He was one of my heroes when I was a little boy growing up watching Superman. Jane Wyman was born in 1917. She was an actress, died 2007. Walter Mondale, 1928 birthday, died in 2021. Robert Duvall, another one of my favorite actors, 1931 he was born. Love to watch him on Westerns. 1942, Charlie Rose, TV host, was born. Events of this date include Bonnie and Clyde meet for the first time at Clarence Clay's house. 1930, FCC hears the first transmission of FM radio with clear signal in 1940. 1945, Pepe Le Pew debuts with Warner Brothers. 1959, Bozo the Clown premieres on TV. In 1970, All My Children premiered on ABC. This is National Bird Day. No, that doesn't mean you shoot people with a bird. It just means we recognize the birds out in the trees. National Keto Day, National Screenwriters Day, and National Whipped Cream Day. Interesting days, and it's a day to stay tuned right here to 100.9 FM, 590 AM. Keys to Confident Living coming up next.
The Wolf magazine of letters tells of a lady who was frantically trying to get her Christmas card sent. She went to the store and hurriedly selected 50 cards, all with the same message. Without looking at the message, she signed her name and dropped 49 of them in the post office box. Several days later, when she was cleaning things up, she picked up the remaining card and read it. You can only imagine her surprise when she saw the phrase, "This card is just to say a little gift is on the way." No gift was ever intended or sent. However, there was one who became known for his spirit of giving. He was born in 280 AD. When he was young, his parents died, leaving him a rather large fortune. He grew up to be very generous with his wealth. From his earliest years, he devoted himself to the service of God. While the Bishop of Asia, he gave much of his inheritance to the poor, especially to the children. During times of imprisonment, he frequently shared his meager provisions with the other inmates. He believed that when he gave to the needy, it was like giving to Jesus himself. This man's name was Nicholas, later changed to St. Nicholas. Freely and joyfully giving of ourselves and our wealth is what the Spirit of Christ in Christmas is all about. It was Jesus who said, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." I trust you will have a very blessed holiday season as you share with others from the blessings that you have received. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
Stay in touch with your tax dollars. Listen to the Commish Report and the School Board Report.
Classes today for about 300,000 Chicago public school students. The city canceling classes after the teachers union voted to pause in-person learning and switch to remote amid a surge in COVID cases. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Unfortunately, CTU leadership is compelling its membership to make a decision that will harm hundreds of thousands of Chicago families who rely upon CPS for their daily needs, for their education, for their nutrition, for their safety. That's real harm.
The status of classes for the rest of the week remains in limbo. This as pediatricians are seeing more COVID patients with the current Omicron surge.
As millions head back to school this week, there's growing concern for America's children, with 325,000 kids testing positive for the virus last week alone, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. More of America's youth could get boosted as early as this week, with the CDC expected to sign off on booster shots for 12 to 15-year-olds.
Winter is getting real. ABC meteorologist Melissa Griffin.
2 storms moving across the country, so we have winter weather alert stretching from coast to coast, California all the way to Maine. Over 30 states under alert. 80 million plus Americans could see brutal cold, heavy snow, ice, high winds, even blizzard conditions for parts of the northern plains.
And it was too real for those stuck, some for more than a day during this week's winter storm on I-95 in Virginia. Virginia's Department of Transportation said the 50-mile backup was the worst in state history. The House committee investigating the deadly January 6 attack on the Capitol, now asking to speak to Fox News host Sean Hannity, describing him as a de facto advisor to former President Trump. On the eve of the riot, the committee says Hannity seemed to sound the alarm, texting to Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, quote, "I'm very worried about the next 48 hours. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-401-6681. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681. 800-401-6681. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
Protests rolling across the country of Kazakhstan after a sharp price hike in fuel. Some of the protesters spotted carrying clubs and shields as they converged on the mayor's office in the country's largest city. Local news reports also say they tried to break the presidential residence. Dozens of police vehicles set on fire or vandalized. The country's biggest utility again being blamed for a major wildfire.
The Dixie Fire burned through nearly 1 million acres in 5 California counties for months last year, destroying over 1,300 buildings. It was the second largest fire in California history. Now CAL FIRE investigators have determined the fire was caused by a tree hitting a Pacific Gas and Electric line. It's the latest fire blamed on PG&E. Last September, the company was charged with involuntary manslaughter for a deadly 2020 wildfire. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Big changes for the Golden Globes this weekend.
After a year of scandal, the Golden Globes will be handed out Sunday to no one. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association revealed Tuesday that there will be a ceremony of some kind on Sunday at the Globe's usual home of the Beverly Hilton Hotel, but no stars or nominees will be there. Variety reports the organization tried and failed to secure celebrity presenters, and media is not invited. Last year, NBC pulled out as the Globe's broadcast partner after it was revealed that the organization had no black members and there was allegedly a lot of corruption. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
This is ABC News.
70% of the Fortune 100 choose Zoom. With phone, chat, workspaces, apps, events, and video in a single platform, Zoom powers all your communications. Large enterprises, small businesses, and individuals use the secure Zoom platform to enable new ways of working, learning, hosting events, and supporting their customers. And now you can save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
Sprinkles and light showers are on their way out. We are going to see a few clouds to ground by the afternoon. Highs in the upper 40s and upper 50s. Overnight will be partly cloudy with lows falling into the low to upper 30s. We are tracking highs on Thursday. In the upper 40s and upper 50s will be dry during the day, but showers will roll in by the evening and overnight hours. We could see a brief transition from rain to snow in our northern counties. We're expecting little to no impacts. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Our daytimes are going to be relatively pleasant today. For instance, 52 degrees at wind speed factor, about 17 mile per hour gust. And then tonight dropping back to 31, lower than where we are started out this morning. And then on Thursday night, will be 23 with a chance of precipitation, 50%. When the temperature is below freezing, it rains, it could create some hazardous conditions. And then on Friday, we're getting up to 41 for the daytime high with wind chill values as low as 18, wind gusting to 12 miles per hour. And then Friday night, mostly clear, lows around 22 again. So night times are going to be snuggling kind of weather. Lows around 27 on Saturday night. Then Sunday, that mostly cloudy with slight chance of sleet developing. Highs around 51. This is over Saturday night and early Sunday morning. Then Sunday night, mostly cloudy with scattered showers, lows around 37, so it's above the freezing mark there. Then on Monday, mostly sunny, highs around 52. And then Monday night, mostly clear, lows around 22 again. And then Tuesday, highs around 41 with the wind chill value as low as 20. So the wind chill value is what we need to really wrap up with, and a double layer of clothes or something to keep the wind factor from running down our backs. We have some news from here and there. And right now it's 37, by the way. We have some news from here and there, and that's coming up right after this.
It's time to toss your lucky shirt, the one you refuse to wash no matter how many winning seasons go by. Because now you can find all the luck you need in 4 brand new scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Scratch-offs like $2 Million Diamond Dazzler. There are millions of dollars in total prizes just waiting to be won. With winning potential like that, who needs a lucky shirt? Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.07 to 4.81. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Well, Rutherford County in North Carolina and other places around the country is still reeling after the death of a beloved, longtime North Carolina State Highway Patrol trooper, accidentally killed by his brother. James Lovelace, who lives across the street from where the crash happened, said he heard a loud bang, then the sirens, and now he's grieving the loss of a good friend. Lovelace put a small cross at the accident site on the corner of High Shoals Church Road and Googe Grove Church Road in Rutherford County. He and other neighbors remember Trooper John Horton, a 15-year veteran, married, father of 6. He was a godly man, Lovelace recalls. Every time we talked, that's what we talked about, God and the Bible. According to the State Highway Patrol, Trooper Horton was making a traffic stop just before 9 that night. His brother, Trooper James Horton, known as Nick, responded to help out. James Horton lost control of his vehicle, crashing into his older brother and the motorist who had been stopped, killing them both. State Highway Patrol has identified that motorist as Dusty Luke Beck. John was a family-oriented guy, Christian-going guy, very dedicated to what he does, and he'll be highly missed, says friend and neighbor Anthony Smith. There's no word yet on why Trooper Horton detained Beck or why his brother was called to help him out. The accident remains under investigation. Lovelace also wants everyone to remember Trooper Nick, who suffered minor injuries, saying this is devastating, that he can certainly use everybody's prayer, because you know he must be devastated over the fact that he was the one who caused the accident and caused the death. Leaders with North Carolina State Highway Patrol told Channel 7 News and about the next couple of days is going to be very difficult for everyone. The intersection of High Shoals Church Road and Googe Grove Church Road sits a tight-knit community. Connie Fight, Rutherford County resident, said to see something like this has happened to be a tragedy. Everyone knows him, which makes this that much harder for people like Connie. It's hard for every one of us because we watch out for each other out here. We try to help everybody, Connie Fight said. She lives down the street from an intersection where tragedy struck Monday night. My husband looked out the door and saw the blue lights and said it was really bad. A commander with North Carolina Highway Patrol said it started with Trooper John Horton attempting to pull over a vehicle Monday night. He asked for assistance from another trooper, and his brother showed up. While heading that way, law enforcement officials said Trooper James Horton lost control of his car, crashing into his brother and the detained driver. The Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, along with family and close friends of Trooper Horton, told Channel 7 News their hearts are broken, but said they're leaning on the community they know to get through this sadness. They expect a memorial to be held this week at Isothermal Community College in Spindale, and as soon as we learn more about that, we will certainly pass that on. But that's news compiled from Channel 7 and Channel 13 News. Other news being reported by the Daily Courier: due to the rapid increase in COVID-19 cases, the Board of Directors for the Symphony of Rutherford County is delaying the spring semester rehearsal startup. Rather than beginning rehearsals on January the 8th, as previously announced, a new date will be determined. Current members and prospective members are encouraged to visit the Symphony website, rcsymphony.org, and the Symphony of Rutherford County Facebook page for updated information, including the possibility of spring music distribution prior to rehearsal resumption. Well, you heard it from Brian King on Tuesday morning, about the fire departments in Rutherford County getting a clean report from the accountant. Crystal Hamrick, CPA, submitted compilation reports to the county commissioners at their meeting Monday evening, and these reports were for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021, and she said they were all clean, unmodified reports. I found no significant issues. The reports were for 12 fire departments, not including the municipal fire departments of Rutherford, Spindale, Forest City, and Lake Lure. Among the rural fire departments, Hamrick pointed out that only one does not have official 501c3 nonprofit status. And she said, I'll be working with them this year to obtain that status. Being an official 501c3 allows nonprofits to be eligible for multiple government and private grant funding opportunities. So they were happy to be able to get that kind of report, and we applaud all of our fire districts and all of our firemen and women who work in those areas of protecting our lives and our property. We thank you so very much for what you do. Keep up the good work. Meanwhile, the Rutherford County Schools moved a step closer to having a new transportation and maintenance facility as Rutherford County Commissioners approved an allocation of $1,132,938 to begin design and engineering work on that project. The action was taken at the County Commissioners meeting Monday night. You heard Brian talk a little bit about that on Tuesday morning during his report. School board did not meet last night. They will be meeting next week, so we'll have that school board report next Wednesday after the board meets next Tuesday night. Prior to the vote, RCS Chief Operating Officer Brad Teague appeared before the board. Teague said, upon your approval, we are ready to go. The transportation and maintenance facility will be located on a portion of the campus of RS Middle School in Rutherford. Construction on a new RS Middle School is nearing completion, and the school will be moving for the new school year 2022-23. The new school is located adjacent to RS Central High School in Rutherford. The present RS Middle School campus was originally RS Central High School. County and RCS leaders have agreed to a plan to redevelop the original historic main building, converting it to housing specifically for new teachers. Known as the RS Middle Redevelopment Project, it is now in the conceptual design phase. This includes comprehensive structural inspection, conceptual design, and construction and cost estimates. The actual construction cannot start before the students and staff are out of the school. This will happen over summertime. Well, a Cleveland County man was killed last week while trying to help someone at the scene of a wreck. At around 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, Richard Darren Ivy, 53, was driving an 18-wheeler on Interstate 71 in Ohio when he watched a woman lose control of her car and crash. According to reports, Ivy pulled over to help the woman as she tried to get her infant child out of the car when another driver swerved to avoid the crash and ended up hitting him. Ivy was pronounced dead at the scene. Darren Ivy, one of Richard's 5 children, said, "That sounds a lot like Dad. He would try to help anyone he can. He'd give you his shirt off his back." Well, he was born in Rutherford County. Richard Ivy practically grew up in the cabin of a tractor-trailer. His father was a career truck driver and would often take Richard on the road with him. I think that really took hold of him. It was really what he wanted to do in his life, said Darren. For most of his adult life, Richard made his living transporting frozen foods across the country. He was up and down New York, California, all over the place. About 2 years ago, he had to have open heart surgery, but he couldn't stay home long. He got bored, started staring at four walls, so he went back out on the road. The family will have visitation for the patriarch at 1 o'clock today at Stamy Tysinger Funeral Home. And while he was trying to save someone else, he lost his life. That's a real hero. 15 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock here on this Wednesday morning edition of the Morning Wake Up Call. We're so appreciative of the fact that you've joined us for that, and stay tuned for more coming up here in just a moment.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford's Gregory's Original.
This is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. We know that due to COVID, many people don't want to come in the office. If you need to discuss your insurance needs or just make a payment, you can come through the drive-thru, telephone us, or drop in. We want to see you, but it doesn't have to be across from a desk. Insurance Service Associates, now located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continuing to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
It's that time again, time to get the flu vaccines. And Smith's Drugs in Forest City has the flu vaccinations available. Walk-ins Monday through Friday and Saturdays by appointment. And Smith's Drug is asking all their Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers to call if you need any help with registering your recalled devices. Just call the Home Medical Department for any help or with questions at 828-245-4591. And Smith's Drugs has the Moderna and Pfizer initial shots and the boosters. They also have the flu vaccines at Smith's Drugs of Forest City.
And if you'd like a free drive-through COVID testing conducted with you or someone in your family, today is the day from 10 a.m. until 12 noon at 221 Callahan Coon Road, Spindale. COVID testing today, free drive-through at 10 o'clock today until 12 o'clock. And if you qualify for that, you certainly would be able to have your choice to go get that done today. There's a lot of news and controversy about the vaccines. Of course, if you haven't had the COVID test, you don't need the vaccine, I guess, right now. But there's a lot of controversy yet about that COVID shot, the jab they call it, where you need all of it and then the booster. And if that's working, or if you still have to wear the mask, or if you're wearing the mask, it's up and down. What the stream is reporting that another city is banning unvaccinated people from restaurants and entertainment venues. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu announced Monday the city will implement a proof of vaccine requirement for restaurants and other indoor venues. The proof of vaccination requirement for indoor venues, including restaurants, fitness centers, and entertainment venues, will begin January the 15th for everyone ages 12 and older, according to a City of Boston press release. All city employees will also be required to prove vaccination unless granted a medical or religious exemption. Wu said in a press release, vaccines are the most powerful tool we have to fight this pandemic. Vaccination saves lives, and closing vaccination gaps is the best way to support and protect our communities, businesses, and cultural institutions during this pandemic. Well, that's her thought on that. It's not proven to be accurate in some areas, and a lot of folks are disagreeing with that that's the best thing going out there since sliced bread. The vast majority of COVID-related hospitalizations are of unvaccinated individuals, which is impacting our entire healthcare system. That's not true either. A lot of folks who've had all three of the stabs still getting sick with COVID, still being hospitalized. Not everybody, but some are. So it affects people differently. So the city Boston now, if you don't have some proof that you've been vaccinated, you can't go into the restaurants or any entertainment center. Now, how's that going to affect small businesses? Shouldn't you be the judge of whether or not you want somebody to come in your restaurant or want somebody to come into your business? Should you be the decision maker whether or not you want to be jabbed 3 times in order to get a little card to say, okay, I've been jabbed, now let me go eat? So that's where the controversy is, though. These liberal cities and the mayors and the governors in these liberal states are saying, you better do it, or we're going to stop you from doing anything. You better follow us. Well, they're not doing that in places like Florida and Texas and all that, in the Dakotas, and they're doing fine. There is a moral objectivity to a COVID vaccine. Still take aspirin. Elizabeth Nemati published on November 4th, requesting a religious exemption from a COVID-19 vaccine is now on the to-do list for many Americans. One Arkansas hospital recently made this more difficult. Lots of employees objected to getting the COVID vaccination because the vaccines used fatal cell lines from abortions. The hospital management pushed back. They created a list of some very common medicines and vaccines and claimed that these were also developed using cells from aborted babies. The list included familiar medicines such as aspirin, Tylenol, ibuprofen, Benadryl, X-Lax, and Tums. Employees who complained about fatal cells in the COVID vaccine were supposed to sign the list and pledge that they would never use those products. The point was to test their sincerity and weed out the ones who were really just vaccine hesitant. Well, other organizations might soon use this scheme. Last week, Jack Posobiec, a journalist who is a friend to whistleblowers, obtained and posted audio of a call between White House and Federal Justice Department staffers who were discussing this way of testing religious exemption requests. Their interest was clearly in finding ways to deny requests and get more people vaxxed. This may look like a serious problem for Christians, but it's not. Happily, most products on the list were not developed using fatal cells. The key is to know the difference between testing used in the original development of a drug or vaccine and testing done later by scientists who wanted to understand how it worked. Aspirin is a great example. The key ingredient in aspirin have been used for thousands of years. Modern aspirin was formulated by Bayer in 1897, but scientists only started using fatal cell lines in the 1960s, so there's no way that aspirin was developed using fatal cell lines. How could a hospital make this list and claim such things? Well, it may have been inspired by an article written by Father Matthew Snyder in early 2021. He listed even more medicines and footnoted each one with scientific journal article references. So there's still a lot of controversy over that. So it behooves us all to do our own research and find out what's best for us. It may not be good for you, and it may be good for you, but Uncle Sam shouldn't be telling us what we have to do in that respect, and we have to have a card to show before we can go eat a steak at our favorite restaurant. No. 23 past 8 o'clock. Sergeant Weathers was with us earlier via telephone from the Sheriff's Department to give us the news from there. We recorded it for broadcast at this time. Sergeant Weathers?
For the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office has responded to 124 calls for service. It's made 10 arrests, and there's currently 150 in our jail. On our incident reports, we have Kenneth Lewis of Forest City reporting larceny of a firearm. He had an AK-47 stolen. We have Robertson Creek Free Will Baptist Church reporting larceny from a vehicle. They had a catalytic converter stolen off one of their fans. Foxfire Enterprises reported a B&E and a larceny. They had several tools stolen in that incident. Earl Shortstop reported uttering a forged instrument. Somebody passed a false check there. Fellowship Baptist Church reported a damage to property. They had some vandalism to occur to their church. Someone spray painted the building on that. On our arrest reports, we have a Melissa Murray of Mooresboro was arrested for failure to appeal on a misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. Travis Smith of Ellenborough was arrested for failure to appear on a felony larceny motor vehicle, and felony larceny. He received a $25,000 secured bond. Desiree Bovey of Forest City was arrested for failure to appear, received a $1,000 secured bond. Christian Harden of Ellenborough was arrested for failure to appear on a felony, 3 counts of that, received an $8,000 secured bond. Justin Rector of Forest City was arrested for where he was served with a notice of hearing. Keith Shires of Forest City was charged with possession of controlled substance in a jail or prison, and there was no bond given on that. Brandon Logan of Rutherford was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor, received a $5,000 secured bond. And Noah Gibson of Rutherford was charged with felony flee to elude in a motor vehicle and received a $5,000 unsecured bond. And that's all we have for you today.
Most of our team has had it, most of our staff. We just got to start building again. But, it's very unusual. I've never gone through anything like this. So I'm learning as I'm doing it. Because last year we never had this. Our program didn't. It's a big thing. I hope we can get out of it because we're not close to being the team we were, before the break. But we can be, and we just got to keep going.
NC State got a road win with a 68-63 victory at Virginia Tech. It ended a 5-game losing streak. Also in action last night, Wake Forest, the Deacs taking care of Florida State 76-54. We're less than a month away from finding out what Washington football team's new name will be.
It means a lot to be a part of putting together the first roster to play under that new brand and something that's going to be lasting. So I'm really excited about that opportunity.
That sound you just heard, the team releasing a hype video on social media about the new name unveiling, which will come February 2nd. I wonder if the team will be the Groundhogs. The team's logo, meanwhile, the jerseys and helmets will also be revealed. It's believed the team name will be one of these 6, the Armada, President's Brigade, Defenders, Red Hogs, or Commanders. I mean, they got hogs in there already with Red Hogs. I think Groundhogs should work. I mean, they're announcing it February 2nd. This is NCN Sports.
Common sense is out the window in Washington these days. The career politicians tell us that dumping more spending and debt on the economy won't make inflation worse. That cutting U.S. oil and gas production off at the knees doesn't impact prices at the pump or our heating bills. That parents who fight for their children's education are domestic terrorists. That we are safer when we defund and vilify the police. And open and unsecured borders pose no threat to our country. Anybody with an ounce of common sense can see that our government is failing us. Restoring common sense starts with Marjorie Eastman for U.S. Senate. Marjorie Eastman is the only candidate who is not a career politician. She is a military veteran, a mom, an entrepreneur, an outsider, and she's ready to go to Washington and restore common sense to our policies. Marjorie Eastman is the common sense choice for U.S. Senate. Paid for by Restore Common Sense PAC, www.restorecommonsenseusa.com, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Novak Djokovic received a medical exemption and will be allowed to play despite not being vaccinated. Other tennis players not happy, including Jamie Murray, who thinks Djokovic is getting special treatment.
I don't know what to say about that, really. I think if it was me that wasn't vaccinated, I wouldn't be getting an exemption. Well done to him for getting cleared to come to Australia and compete.
The Brooklyn Nets expected to put star Kyrie Irving on the court tonight at Indiana. After refusing to get vaccinated against the COVID virus, Irving had been unable to play at home, and for much of the season, he'd been unwelcome on the road in visiting cities. Meanwhile, the Washington Capitals have almost their entire lineup back from COVID-19 protocols after missing players on and off for much of the past few weeks. Dallas Stars also getting healthier after removing Captain Jamie Benn from the protocol list. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Sprinkles and light showers are on their way out. We are going to see a few clouds to ground by the afternoon, highs in the upper 40s and upper 50s. Overnight will be partly cloudy with lows falling into the low to upper 30s. We are tracking highs on Thursday in the upper 40s and upper 50s. Will be dry during the day, but showers will roll in by the evening and overnight hours. We could see a brief transition from rain to snow in our northern counties. We're expecting little to no impacts. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Thank you very much, Peter. Our temperature has remained consistent this morning. It started out at 37. That's where it is right now. But before long, it'll be jumping up a little bit more to 52 for our expected high, with a wind gust of 17 miles per hour today. So wintertime is blowing itself right in here for us, and we need to be ready for it coming up. We'll keep you posted on the weather throughout today here on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, serving the foothills of the Carolinas. It's time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program, and with the program this morning is Rich and Lorraine Dolan.
Good morning, Rutherford County. My name is Rich Dolan, and this is my wife, Lorraine. And God has been dealing with our hearts about the words of our mouth, and we have a lot of scriptures to share with you to see what God is meaning when he says that we need to choose life or death. And we need to choose life. That's what God wants us to do. So let's get started. In Ephesians 5:27, it says that he might present the church to himself as a glorious splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be whole and faultless. Now, God has been dealing with us as a church about, Jesus returning, and says that he's going to look for a church without spot, blemish, or wrinkle. And the cry of our hearts has been, Jesus, please show us anything that would, be a spot, a blemish, or wrinkle, anything that would hinder us from making it to heaven. And one of the main things that he has shown us as our family, and is that the words of our mouth. I'm going to start with James 1:19. It says, understand this, my beloved brethren, let every man be quick to hear, a ready listener, slow to speak, slow to take offense, and to get angry. Now, when it says that we need to be quick to hear, that is one of the major places that I have not been, and that God is changing my heart. And slow to speak, I have been the one that's always had the opinion or wanted to put my 2 cents in, and it's not been God. It's rude. It attacks people, and that's where I've been crying out to God, Jesus, please change my heart. I don't want to be that way. I want to be a ready listener. Yes. I want to hear what you have to say, Jesus, not what I have to say out of my opinion or my pride and haughtiness or something like that, where I would be cutting off the voice of God. Then it says in Matthew 12:34 and 37, it says, you offspring of vipers, how can you speak good things when you are evil and wicked? For out of the fullness, the overflow, the superabundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And did you hear what it said? It said the superabundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. That means what's in us is what comes out of our mouths. And if that opinion, the pride and the haughtiness, any of that, if that's what's in your heart, that's what's going to come out of your mouth. It says, the good man from his inner good treasure flings forth good things. And the evil man out of his inner evil storehouse flings forth evil things. And Jesus, I want good things to come out of my heart. I want your word to be laid up in my heart that I might not sin against you. I want to do the will of God. But I tell you, on the day of judgment, when men will have to give account for every idle, inoperative, non-working word they speak, for by your words you will be justified and acquitted, or by your words you'll be condemned and sentenced. And I don't want that day to come when I'm standing before Jesus and he says, depart from me, for I don't know you. And, and in Matthew 7:21, it says that, that when he says that to that person, they're going to say, but I laid hands on the sick. I prayed for the sick. I cast devils out of people. And he says, but I don't know you because you didn't do the will of the Father. And if we're speaking words that aren't from the throne room of God, aren't what God's telling us, we're not doing the will of the Father. And we've got to cry out, Jesus, I want your will, not my will. I want your will, Jesus, not my will. Help me, Jesus. Help me, Jesus. Because we will be justified, excuse me, and acquitted, meaning that we won't be found guilty of anything that isn't right, or we'll be condemned and sentenced. And we don't want the latter. We want to be acquitted. And then in 1 Timothy 6:20, it says, O Timothy, guard and keep the deposit entrusted to you. Turn away from the irreverent babble and godless chatter, with the vain and empty and worldly phrases, and the subtleties and the contradictions in what is falsely called knowledge and spiritual illumination. You know, that scripture there is just so full. You know, he's entrusted us. He's put a deposit in us from the day we were born. He wants us to make it. He wants us to do his will. He wants us to have that relationship with him and know him. So what comes out of our mouths won't be attacking the people we love and the people we're around. It says there that, you know, the worldly phrases. I mean, there are so many of them. And we've used them so much, we haven't even realized what they're really saying, but they contradict things. I mean, I'm trying to think of the one the other day, you know, I remember, you know, if you have a problem with something and it doesn't work out, and you say, oh, that's great. Well, was it really great, or was it a problem? We should have been saying, Jesus, help me. Help me, Jesus. You know, it's sarcasm, you know, it attacks, it cuts off the will of God for you. And then in Proverbs 18:6-7, it says, a self-confident fool's lips bring contention, and his mouth invites a beating. In verse 7 it says, a self-confident fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are a snare to himself. And when we don't hear the voice of God, you know, that's exactly what it does. It brings contention. And then, you know, it says his mouth invites a beating. And that's where those arguments and the strife comes in, because we didn't hear the voice of God as to what to say or how to say it. And, you know, we should be saying things that are beneficial to others.
And in Proverbs 18, verse 20, it says, a man's moral self shall be filled with the fruit of his mouth, and with the consequence of his words he must be satisfied, whether good or evil. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they who indulge in it shall eat the fruit of it, for death or for life. So it's true, Rich was saying, I mean, we are going to stand before God, and we are going to be judged for everything we've done in our life, including the words that we've let come out of our mouth, what we've said to people. They can be an encouragement to people. They can bring them closer to Jesus, or they can tear them down and attack them and just cause them to go deeper in what the devil has for their life. You know, people in the world, they're hurting. They don't have Jesus. They don't have hope. They don't have encouragement. They don't have people in their life to lead them to Jesus, to give them the good news. And Jesus has words for us to say to people that will give them the good news, that will encourage them to seek God, for their hearts to be drawn near to Jesus, because he wants every one of us to make it to heaven to be with him. In Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 2, it says, be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter a word before God. For God is in heaven, and you are on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Our lives are a testimony to either good or evil, to either God or the devil. We need to show in our life that we are a disciple of Jesus. And people can tell this very quickly. They can be around someone for a very short period of time. They can watch how people act. They can hear the words that come out of people's mouths. And they know whether you are trying to serve God or whether you're just part of the world and you're living for the devil. We need to let our lives show Jesus everywhere we go. You know, if we have to use words to, you know, we get the opportunity to speak to people, we need to be giving them the words of encouragement, the words from the lips of Jesus, so that they'll want Jesus in their lives and not to continue on the path that they're on right now.
When Proverbs 12, 18 and 19, there are those who speak rashly, like the piercing of a sword, but the tongue of the wise bring healing. Truthful lips shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is credited but for a moment. And you know, when we speak rashly, that means that we're speaking right off the top of our head. And you know, we hear something and we just go with it real quick. And it's not hearing the voice of God. It's most of the time, I know for me, I've been one with, like it says up here in Ecclesiastes 5:2. It says, let your words be few. Well, I've not been few in words. I've always had a lot to say. And it would always jump in a conversation. And, you know, it interrupts. And it's not the will of God for you to be that way. And, you know, it says, truthful lips shall be established forever. And that's where our hearts are. Our hearts on Jesus. We want your will. We want to speak your words so we can be a blessing to others. And that when people are around us, they know that we walk with God. It's not going to be, you know, like it says here, lying tongue is credited but for a moment. You know, we want an everlasting, you know, reward there as to us being a testimony for our walk with God. And it's not just us, but it's a testimony for God, and it will draw people to him. And it says in Ephesians 4:29, let no foul or polluting language, nor evil word, or unwholesome or worthless talk ever come out of your mouth, but only such speech as is good and beneficial to the spiritual progress of others, as is fitting to the need and occasion. It may be a blessing and give grace, God's favor, to those who hear it. You know, we want it to be beneficial. We want it to bring God's grace into their life, where in God's grace is his favor, his ability to overcome sin, his ability to overcome any situation that might arise or that someone might be in the middle of. But if we're going to speak the oracles of God, we've got to stop and listen and wait and hear what Jesus has to say about a situation, and not just the first thing that pops up. It comes out of your mouth. You know, that totally cuts off what God has to say. In Colossians 3:8, it says, but now put away and rid yourselves completely of all these things: anger, rage, bad feelings towards others, curses and slander, and foul-mouthed abuse, and shameful utterances from your lips. You know, the shameful utterances are anything that comes out of you that Jesus hasn't said. It doesn't have to be some, other words, but anything that we speak that Jesus hasn't said, those are shameful utterances. You know, and it says here that we're to rid ourselves from this. So we have our time of that we're crying out to God and trying to, hear what the will of God is for us every day. We're crying out, Jesus, change my mouth, change the way I speak. Lord, I want to be sweet. I want to be sweet to others. I don't want to say words that are going to attack anyone. I just want to hear your voice, Jesus, and I want to speak your words to everyone I'm in contact with. Because, see, we don't know what everyone's gone through. And as long as we're speaking what God has said and we're speaking out the will of God, it's going to be a blessing. It may be life-saving to another individual. I do a lot of handyman work, and I'm at Lowe's all the time. And, you know, there's some of the tellers there and some of the men that work there that know me now. And so, I mean, I purpose in my heart when I go in to be able to have something that Jesus has said, you know, to, you know, be a blessing to them, or, you know, just to be sweet to them, because not everybody's real sweet at, you know, in the retail stores, because they can't find something, things are short, and I can't have this and I can't get this, and, you know, we just really got to cry out to God. So we're not one of those people that comes up and going to attack somebody because they can't help it. They don't have it. They don't have it, you know. So we have to have the voice of God. So we're speaking what he has to say, and that it'll be a blessing to them. In Proverbs 13:3 says, "He who guards his mouth keeps his life, but he who opens wide his lips comes to ruin." You know, I've just, like I've said several times now, you know, we've got to make sure that whatever we're doing and however we're saying it, that it's going to bring the blessings of God and be beneficial to the hearer and bring God's grace to them, so they'll have everything they need when they need it.
You may be listening to us this morning and have the thought, you know, how can I stop talking the way I've been talking? How can I stop just reacting and responding out of the, I guess, you know, the same old stuff I have all my life or for years, whatever. But we need to cry out for the fear of God to come in our heart. You know, we need to keep before us heaven and hell. We don't want to attack someone with our words, but we want to encourage. In 1 Timothy 6:11, it says, "But as for you, O man of God, flee from these things. Aim at and pursue righteousness, truth, true goodness, moral conformity to the character of God, godliness, the fear of God, faith, love, steadfastness, and gentleness." When we have the fear of God in our hearts, we will not react to things said to us, but we will respond by the Spirit of God. We will take a moment and not be so quick to give an opinion, you know, as to what we think about things or how we might feel about something that's said to us. You know, we can have all these thoughts from the devil that comes about, you know, something said to you like, what did they mean by saying that? And why would they say that to me? And all these things that come, and they come so quick. We will take a moment and say, Jesus, what can I say to help that person? Because a lot of times people that say things to us, you know, that may not be good, may seem attacking, whatever, they may say it out of a place where they're hurting themselves. And we need to consider Jesus. We need to consider him worth the knowing. We need to ask him. We need to take a moment before we respond and give our opinion. And we need to hear his voice, what to say.
Excuse me.
In Colossians 3, verse 12, it says, "Clothe yourselves, therefore, as God's own chosen ones, his own picked representatives, who are purified and holy and well-beloved by God himself, by putting on behavior marked by tender-hearted pity and mercy, kind feeling, a lowly opinion of yourselves, gentle ways, and patience, which is tireless and long-suffering, and has the power to endure whatever comes with good temper." You know, whether it's our family members we're trying to help, or somebody we work with, or even places in our hearts where God's trying to keep changing us, we've got to have that patience. We've got to keep enduring whatever comes to us with good temper by asking Jesus to help us every time. God loves us. He wants to change our hearts. He doesn't want the words that are coming out of our mouth to continually be something wrong. Be gentle and forbearing with one another, and if one has a difference, a grievance, or complaint against another, readily pardoning each other, even as the Lord has freely forgiven you, so you must also forgive. And we do need to forgive. And above all these, put on love and enfold yourselves with the bond of perfectness, which binds everything together and completely in ideal harmony. And let the peace, the soul harmony which comes from Christ, rule and act as an umpire continually in your hearts, deciding and settling with finality all questions that arise in your minds. In that peaceful state to which, as members of Christ, one body, you were also called to live. And be thankful, appreciative, giving praise to God always. And that talks about the questions that arise in our minds. It may be questions that come when someone talks to you, but take a minute and go to Jesus. Jesus, what do I need to say right now that will help them? Not tear them down, not attack them, but help them. Let the word spoken by Christ the Messiah have its home in your hearts and minds, and dwell in you in all its richness as you teach and admonish and train one another in all insight and intelligence and wisdom in spiritual things. And as you sing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, making melody to God with His grace in your hearts. And we need the grace of God to keep on going to Jesus and saying the words that we need to say. And whatever you do, no matter what it is, in word or in deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus and in dependence upon His person, giving praise to God the Father through Him. And that's what we want to do. Everything we do in our lives, we want to bring glory to Jesus, glory to God the Father, no matter if it's in the words that we say or things that we do. In 1 Peter 4, verses 1, it says, So, since Christ suffered in the flesh for us, for you, arm yourselves with the same thought and purpose, patiently to suffer rather than fail to please God. For whoever has suffered in the flesh, having the mind of Christ, is done with intentional sin, has stopped pleasing himself and the world, and pleases God. We want to please God. We don't want to let things that are said to us affect us. We want to get to the place where we don't even think that way. Verse 2, it says, so that he can no longer spend the rest of his natural life living by his human appetites and desires, but he lives for what God wills. And we want to be pleasing to Jesus. In 1 Peter, in chapter 2, verse 1, it says, so be done with every trace of wickedness, depravity, malignity, and all deceit and insincerity, pretense, hypocrisy, and grudges, envy, jealousy, and slander, and evil speaking of every kind. That needs to be a cry of our heart. Jesus, I want to be done with every trace of this sin in our life, every place of this slander and evil speaking of any kind, every kind. And we need to be crying out for the love of God to be in our hearts for people. When we have the love of God in our hearts for people, we won't want to say anything that could attack them or be hurtful to them or tear them down. It says in 1 Corinthians 13 verses 4, it says, love endures long and is patient and kind. Love never is envious, nor boils over with jealousy. It is not boastful or vainglorious, and it does not display itself haughtily. And we don't want to give to that pride, thinking we know apart from Jesus, without even considering Him, without even inquiring or going to Him and asking Him, Jesus, what do I say now? In verse 5 it says, it is not conceited or arrogant and inflated with pride. It's not rude, it's not unmannerly, it does not act unbecomingly. Love, God's love in us, does not insist on its own rights or its own ways. It's not self-seeking. It's not touchy or fretful or resentful. It takes no account of the evil done to it, and it pays no attention to a suffered wrong. And that's a place where we've got to keep crying out for the love of God to be in our hearts for everybody. When things are said, we'll flow up out of that gentleness and the kindness instead of attacking others. Ephesians 4 verse 15 says, rather, let our lives lovingly express truth in all things, speaking truly, dealing truly, living truly. Enfolded in love, let us grow up in every way and in all things into Him, who is the head, even Christ the Messiah, the Anointed One. And that's how we do want to live our lives, expressing truth in everything we do, everything we say, the way we live, how we are around people. And in Psalms 19, verse 14, it says, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O God, my firm, impenetrable rock and my Redeemer. And that's how we want to live our lives. We want the words of our mouth and what is in our hearts to be accepting and pleasing to God. We want it to come from Jesus. You know, I work in a law firm. I have opportunity to speak to people every day. And there's a lot of hurting people out there. And people have a story. And they want to tell you their story. And it's so important for me and my job. And it's important for every one of us. We've got to hear from Jesus what to say to people. Because there's hurting, dying people in the world that are on their way to hell, and they need Jesus. And we need to be aware of that and let Jesus use us to bring those words of life, the words of encouragement to people straight from the lips of God.
I know there where she was just reading in Ephesians 4:15, where it talks about speaking truly, dealing truly, and living truly. You know, I know for myself, where I had been brought up is, you know, you have lots of phrases to say and things that aren't really true, but, you know, you contradict yourself in these phrases, and that's not living truly and dealing truly and speaking truly.
Right.
It's a lie, and it says there'll be no liars in heaven. No liars in heaven. So we've got to make sure that we get all of this out of our hearts so that when Jesus comes, we will be part of that bride without spot, blemish, or wrinkle. In Ephesians 4:29, it says, "Let no foul or polluting, nor evil word, nor unwholesome or worthless talk ever come out of your mouth, but only such speech as is good and beneficial to the spiritual progress of others, as is fitting to the need and the occasion, that it might be a blessing and give grace, God's favor to those who hear it." Now, I read this a little bit ago, but I wanted to come back to it because it says, don't let this come out of your mouth. Don't let it come out. We've got to be finished with this. We've got to be crying out to God constantly and hearing his voice as to when and how we're supposed to say something. And in Psalms 141, 3 and 4, it says, "Set a guard, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep watch at the door of my lips. Incline my heart not to submit or consent to any evil thing, or to be occupied in deeds of wickedness with men who work iniquity, and let me not eat of their dainties." We've got to be crying out to God. Jesus, set that guard over my mouth. Yes. Bridle my tongue, Jesus. Bridle my tongue. I want to be a ready listener. Yes. I want to be a ready listener. I want to be slow to speak. And my last scripture here says, "Let your speech at all times be gracious, pleasant and winsome, seasoned as it were with salt, so that you may never be at loss to know how you ought to answer anyone who puts a question before you." Now, I mean, that could be in a court of law. It could be just in your daily talk. But we've got to be able to hear the voice of God and know how to respond, to bring that beneficial speech, the blessing, the grace of God to whomever it might be. And we don't want to be a hindrance to anybody. We want the love of God to come out of us. So when we speak, we are doing exactly what the will of God is.
That's right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You can listen to our radio programs Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 8:30 to 9 on WCAB. You can also go to our website at www.wordoffaithfellowship.org and listen to all our pre-recorded radio programs. Thank you so much. What an honor to be with you today. We love you so much.
Thank you.